What is happening? And welcome to another Photography Talk episode. And friends, today we're going to be talking about a tripod. And this is actually pretty exciting because we haven't done a tripod review in a long time. And actually there's really good reasons for that. Over the years, I've become quite I don't want to say a snob, but a tough critic when it comes to tripods, mainly because, look, there's a lot of junk out on the marketplace, and I'm actually a creature. I was thinking where I wanted to go with this here, and half me wants to tie in because we've spoken recently about my camera bag. I have a rack of camera bags over there that over the course of the last 14, 17 years, camera bags that I've tested out. Obviously, I don't keep most of them. I actually said we do giveaways or this or that with these things. But there are about 10 camera bags over there. Some I've had for as old as 12 years or so. And each of these camera bags have a very specific purpose, a very specific solution that they filled with that they take care of my photography needs. And when it comes to tripods, and see, this is kind of a long way of putting this here. There are 3 tripods that I use religiously. I have the Peak Design. This is the carbon fiber travel tripod that they have. And I have 2 Pro Media Gear tripods that are definitely not what I would call as travel friendly, especially the one that's the R5 is sitting on. It's a pretty big tripod. And so, although I have taken them to me with Norway a handful of times there, but this right here is pretty much my go-to travel tripod when I'm heading out for some very good reasons. But that thing right there is $659 or something like that. And every time we go pushing a video out there, I'm reminded of, hey, that's a lot of money. And so are there other options? Are there other less price, more reasonable price travel tripods? And this goes back to where I was leading a moment ago. Why we haven't done a review on tripods in a while is because some of the tripods that I had been testing out, I didn't feel comfortable getting in front of you guys. This thing, for what it is, for what its cost, is going to be a lot of fun to review. And actually, I've been tooling around with this thing for the last 3.5, 4 months or so. So that's what we're going to be watching here momentarily is, well, my 2 cents of, this is the Vanguard VEO 3 Go. It's a 265 tripod. And yeah, so we're going to be jibber-jabbering about this here. I'm going to let you know what I think of it, pros and cons and all that other good stuff. Now, before we get diving into all this fun here momentarily, guys, look, we put these videos together. I get out there and spend my time putting these through the paces, beating the hell out of stuff like this. So therefore, I can get in front of you guys and let you know, is it worth to go out there and pick something out? Actually, if I'm getting in front of you here, you could probably put 2 to 2 together. For the most part, this is a good recommendation. But where I'm leaning with this, if you find some value with this video, sure would appreciate you crushing the hell out of that like button down below. It really does help with the whole YouTube algorithm. That said, my friends, pull up a seat in. Let's go. All right, before we get into the specs and features of this tripod right here, one of the things I really want to open up here with is when you're picking up a tripod. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into a good tripod itself. Now, one of the first and foremost, of course, is you want stability. And the unfortunate side about travel tripods, in my opinion, is travel tripods, you're getting it because it's small, lightweight, it's a small form factor. So is this going to be as stable as one of the tripods that I use in my studio? Absolutely heck no. And there's a substantial price difference as well. So, and that's, again, going back to what I mentioned a moment ago, I've tested quite a handful of travel tripods, and there's always a compromise with the stability, and obviously some a lot more than others. This one right here actually does a pretty okay job with it. Now, I'm going to expound on that more here momentarily. So just keep that in mind. There's a tool. Look at a travel tripod like a camera bag, like anything else out there. It's a tool with a very specific purpose. If you're picking up something like this and you think you're going to go putting a R5 with a 300mm lens on it and expect this thing is going to be stable as all hell. No, this is not the right tool for that. So again, use the right tool for the right case. Now that said, let's take a look at some of the specs about this tripod before we get into kind of things I like and dislike about it. Starting off, this is a compact carbon fiber tripod and it's a monopod. Now this comes with a Arca Swiss ball head on it. This is a compatible ball head with independent pan lock, cell phone adapter, Bluetooth remote for supreme functionality. Now one leg on this thing actually converts to a monopod and it can also be used as a selfie stick as well. Now there are you have three preset angles on this. You have 21 degrees, you have 50 degrees, and then you have, boom, 80 degrees. So which is going to give you quick options for stable or getting as best stable footing that you can when you have different level terrains and so forth. Now, one of the cool things about this tripod right here, it is super fast setup. Thanks to these rapid set twist legs that you can see that Vanguard set this thing up with here. So the legs can be locked up quite quickly and easily dismantled and cleaned up. So if you head out to the desert or if you head out to the beach and you get a bunch of sand, this thing can surprisingly be cleaned up pretty quickly as well. Now another thing, you have a reversible center column here. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing set up here. Okay, oops, helps if I get that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you have this reversible center column here. So you unscrew this little center part down here, pull this thing out here, pop that in. Oops, somebody didn't tighten that leg down. And boom. Okay, well. So, voila. And this can be great for getting those low angle shots for when you want the ball head upside down and you have the camera pointed low to the ground shots. Now this also includes a rubber and, where did I do the spike feet? Okay, here we go. So, and the spikes are actually pretty cool. I've not used the spikes before, but you have, clearly you have the rubber spikes that are on there, and then you also have these little spikes that you can put into this thing as well. Now there's also a retractable hook, which I mentioned to you a moment ago here. This is great for if you want to add additional stability. Again, what we're talking about a moment ago is getting a travel tripod. You know, I got to put this thing back to normal. Hold on. It's messing me up here. But you can see how easy it is to swap this thing back and forth, which kind of works out good for this illustration. Boom. Okay. Now where were we here? Okay. So you have this hook here that you can add or hang like your camera bag or something on there, and that's going to give this thing more stability when you have this thing fully extended. Now this thing folds down to 16.1 inches long, but this will actually extend out to, or height-wise, total height of 65.5 inches, and it weighs only 3.1 pounds. Now this can actually support up to 22 pounds of gear. Now, full disclosure, there's no way in hell I would put 22 pounds onto this thing here. Again, we're talking about what I said a moment ago, having the right tool for the right job. If I'm going out with a big, heavy ton of gear, I shouldn't be using this tripod to begin with. This is good for, and we'll get into this momentarily as far as what I believe this tripod is really going to shine. And by kind of sticking with that, you're going to get much more enjoyment and pleasure out of using a tripod like this versus trying to, you know, they say it can hold 22 pounds, but again, you put something on here on a travel tripod that's 22 pounds, especially when you have that neck extended or the center column fully extended. It's not what I would personally do. And there's a carrying case that comes with this thing as well, and honestly, I have no idea what the hell I did with it. Now, with that said, let's take a look at some of the pros and cons about this tripod. Let's start off with some of the pros. The design of this thing, Vanguard did a very good job with this tripod. Now here's a little fun fact about me and Vanguard rather. 8-10 years ago, would I recommend a Vanguard product? hell no. I just did not really resonate with the quality of the products. And I think it was about 7 years ago or so, yeah, somewhere around there, these guys really took like a quantum leap forward in design, functionality, the quality, not only their tripods, but also their camera bags as well. And so specifically when we're talking about this thing right here, one of the things I mentioned earlier is one of the big pluses with this tripod is it really does set up super fast. And that is, especially when you're getting out to location and so forth, where you may be racing against time, you have a ton of other stuff that you need to do, or you're just kind of traveling around and you're kind of running and gunning, move from one location to another. Being able to set this thing up pretty fast is pretty stinking cool. Now here is, I think I'll kind of combine pros and cons all together, and you guys can kind of pick them out as you see fit. But here's the height of this thing without the center column extended. So I'm 6 foot, so you can see where it's coming up to me here. So if I want to be able to utilize this, see, I personally normally don't like using a center column on any tripod. Because as soon as you start lifting this up, that center of gravity gets all wonky. And especially on a travel tripod. Now, I've seen comments, people talking about, well, that thing is not stable. Well, you know what? Again, have the right tool for the right job. A travel tripod, it is what it is. There is going to be a compromise in weight, size, material being used on it because you want something lightweight. So, anyways, we can see there it is. Is that fully extended? Yeah, there we go. That's fully extended. So fully extended, okay, it's almost perfect. But honestly, this sort of height, I would not put my DSLR on here. Now you have this little trusty little cell phone plate. So if you're out with family, you're traveling, okay. I don't know what I do with my phone. Okay, so I would use this all day long with my phone on it. So this is all the stuff that comes with it here. And there's actually, this particular tripod has this cool little remote here. Now, this is the actual holder for it. Okay, so if you have the, what the hell was it? It was a Camera 360 app. You can use the top button here. Now that's a paid app. So there's a free version, but they throttle how much access you have. But you can control your phone off of this top button. The top button's for if you're using the native phone inside your camera. If you have iOS, it's the top button. Android is the small little itty bitty button on the bottom there. So anyway, all day long with the phone on here, yes. Or a small camera, yes. Would have no problem with this being fully extended up like this. My R5 or my R6, not a chance. And that's just simply because it's not the right tool for the right job. And so it's going to wobble a little bit when you have it up like this. So one of the things I personally would like to have seen with this tripod is just a little bit more height of this before having to mess with the center column. As you can see, it's a little bit more stable versus you put it up here and it does wobble a little bit there. So, but again, I hate to be broken record here. Having the right tool for the right job. So if you're picking up something that you want to use, around where you live, this and that, that you want to put a big honker of a camera on top of it, don't get a travel tripod. Get something that has a little bit more beef to it. Now, one of the things I do absolutely love about this, and I'm reminded as I'm playing around with this thing right now, is many of you know, when it comes to ball heads, I like the Acrylic GP. I've been using these ball heads for 17 years. Absolutely love these things. But when you're making adjustments to it, you have these little knobs here. Now, granted, they have rubber on them. This is one of the things I absolutely love what Vanguard did here is you have the knob, but they also give you a little nub that's hanging off. So you get some leverage on there. So when you're tightening this thing down or doing what you need to, you having that additional arm coming off that knob there, really from a leverage standpoint, that's what you're getting here. You're getting much more leverage and it requires less effort to get this thing locked into place. And when you do, you have more of that elbow grease or whatever the hell you want to call it, locking this thing into place. And so they did a really good job with this ball head. Now, one of the things I do want to point out here, we're talking about versatility here of what they have created. I shared with you, okay, so you can actually unscrew one of the legs here. You can actually make it a monopod. Now, this is going to be a short monopod, but again, if you're in a pinch and you just need a small monopod, or again, as a selfie stick, again, the leg is super lightweight, so there's a lot of kind of Easter eggs with this particular tripod here. One of the things I also like with this here, so if you want to be able to shoot kind of low, you have this. So the center column here, obviously if you extend these legs down, let's see if I can do this without whacking everything in here. So if you're trying to get low to the ground, and I already took out that bottom, so I'm going to stop it right here. To get this tripod all the way down, just imagine this one was fully extended. That's as low as you would normally be able to go. That kind of defeats the purpose, because now you have, again, we're talking about center gravity. This thing's hanging up here. So that's the one thing I don't like about tripods with center legs on them. This one actually does some pretty cool stuff. So you have this little nub right here, put that in there, tighten it down, and voila. So now, get in place. Probably should have put these legs aside. So you can see where I'm leading with this here. So that makes a big difference on how low you're able to get that camera to the ground. Just put your ball head on top of that, and you're literally about 5 or 6 inches off the ground there. So they did a really good job with what they put into this tripod. And the best part about it, which is happens to be the #1 complaint that I see with the Peak design, is cost. That's $650. Yeah, at the end of the day, with tax, over $700. This thing, I thought I saw on Amazon and B&H, it's on sale for like $199 or $177, something like that. Or you can get a aluminum one for even less. But honestly, if you can swing the carbon fiber, the carbon fiber is the way to go, because it is super lightweight. But from a cost standpoint, and that's the part that excites me about this thing punches way out of its weight class, which, again, think about the last time I did a review on a tripod. Not to say I hadn't been testing any, I just didn't like any. I thought a lot of the ones I had been tested just did not check off enough boxes where I felt comfortable to get in front of you guys to make a recommendation, especially when it comes to travel tripods, because travel tripods are just, again, you have, if you want an inexpensive travel tripod, they're usually, from my experience, there's just not enough boxes that are being checked off. This is one does it. But again, keep in mind, right tool for the right job. Don't get a travel tripod and you go putting a big honker of a lens on there. You're going to compromise some of that stability. If you're going out there with a small lens, camera body, you're going to manage the height on that and so forth, or you're just going to use it with, cell phone. Again, you're out with your family, this and that, using it as a travel tripod, absolutely fantastic. Again, kind of circling back around here, Vanguard did a good job with a nice blend of build quality, superb. Again, the design of this thing, they did a good job of this here. And again, the ball head is, for what this is here, for being a small ball head, is fantastic. And again, it's perfect size for this size of a tripod. So other than that, guys, geez, for the last 3.5 months, I've been beating the hell out of this thing. And again, the only things I would, if I could have better or would be a con, is I would want the actual height of this just a little bit taller without having to fuss with the center column. Because again, for me, my shooting, I don't like messing with center columns. Now, with that said, Vanguard, what they have here is a great option for photographers that need a kind of a do-it-all tripod when you're out traveling. Again, right tool for the right job. If you haven't noticed, I'm rinse and repeat. I really want to hammer having the right tool for the right job. You can even use this tripod in your studio, although not the first one I would use in the studio, as we just discussed a moment ago. Now, in the field and all points in between, so you can use it with all sorts of camera setups in all different kinds of different shots, from low angle macro shots to family portraits when you're out and about. Now, what's more is this model is available in carbon fiber and aluminum, which actually I mentioned that a moment ago. So you can select which type fits your needs and, more importantly, your budget. Now, either way, you're going to get a well-designed, a well-built tripod that, again, for the money, man, this thing is a absolute rock star. Now, friends, usually this time of the video, I would close things off and talk about our current giveaway, although that has ended. Actually, this week we're going to be disclosing our new giveaway. And yeah, so you're going to want to stay tuned for the next Photography Talk episode to learn, well, first off, who won the last set of prizes, and also we're going to disclose the new prizes that are coming up for the following month or for the next month as well. Now, that said, friends, look, I'm honored that you have joined me here and allowed me to share with you my 2 cents of what it's been like utilizing this tripod over the course of the last 3.5 months. I am honored. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. If there are any questions about this tripod that I did not answer that you would like to know, I tried to cover as much as I could, and that's actually one of the reasons that took me so long to get this review out. Is I brought this all over. I do a lot of traveling for both my companies, and so I brought this out with a handful of trips and really spending some time with it and trying to get a sense of things that I don't like, finding areas that could potentially cause me want to get in front of you and review this thing. And again, keeping in mind, just understanding the limitations of a tool like this, you're going to be in good hands with this thing, especially if you're after a budget-friendly tripod. I feel I just repeated myself, and that wasn't really where I was leading with this, but the getting back on topic is, look, thank you very much for supporting the channel. It's that time of the video where, friends, I'm going to ask you to do all that YouTube stuff because we really appreciate it, and it helps with the channel out. So consider hitting that like button, the subscribe button, so therefore you're part of the family. And last but not least, so therefore you don't miss a single video just like the one that you just watched, hit that bell so therefore YouTube notifies you every time that we come out with a new clip. That said, my friends, well, I'm going to be jumping out of my studio, so you get out there, stay healthy, and take your best shot.